Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening and welcome to the Arundel Camera Club meeting for Thursday, November 9th. My name is John Milliker and I'm the club president for the 2023-2024 season. The Arundel Camera Club was founded in 1957, exists to promote the arts, science, and education in all aspects and fields of photography. For more information about us, please visit arundelcameraclub.org. If you are local to the Anne Arundel County, Maryland, we encourage you to visit us live at the Severna Park Baptist Church, located at 506 Benfield Road, Severna Park, Maryland. We are meeting every Thursday night starting at 7 p.m. Before we move to tonight's contest, do we have any announcements from any of our officers? No? Okay. Well, let me go ahead and turn it over to our programs chair, Christine, for our upcoming schedule, and then we'll move it over to Bob, who is filling in for Ron tonight, to introduce our judge and get us started. Here you go, Christine.
Good evening. Next week on November 16th is a program by our very own Fred Venetia on portrait photography. On November 17th is a field trip to Conowingo Dam. On November 23rd, there will be no meeting because it is Thanksgiving, so don't come and show up. On November 30th is our contest for color and monochrome prints with the theme of open. On December 7th is our digital contest with a theme of craftsmen and artisans. And on December 14th is our Christmas party, which will be at the Hockles this year. So we will be sending out information about that. And on December 17th is a field trip to Longwood Gardens. Tonight, I'm going to hand this over to Bob now.
Okay. It's at short notice that I've been asked to fill in for Ron, and unfortunately I didn't manage to get our judge's bio, but he has been with us a couple of times before. He used to live in Maryland, but now has moved out west. And he has a website, imagesunderfoot.com, which is certainly worth a visit. Our judge is actually Greg Holden. So at this point, we might as well start.
Okay, Greg, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here with you. Thanks again for having me back.
Perfect. Great to have you.
For those who don't remember me, this is actually my 10th visit to Arundel Camera Club. I used to visit in person when I lived back in Maryland, and now virtual over the last couple of years. I am hearing a little bit of feedback of my voice.
Okay. Sadly, that is because we have a little bit of a room here, and we're trying to make sure you're loud enough for there. But I will see if I can't. As you're speaking, I'm going to turn down the microphones, and that should fix that. Christine, are we okay?
All right.
Perfect.
All right, we'll give that a try. See how that works.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Bob, are you planning on reading the names, or would you like me to do that?
I think it would be better if you did, because I don't have anything in front of me.
The names with you, that's perfect. Well, Greg, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the names to you. We're going to go from, we're going to start in the novice category, and we're going to go ahead and read, let me get the light behind me, Christine. We're going to go ahead and read the names. We're going to go through one time. We need at the end from you, once we go through one time, we'll go through again. You'll give us a little bit of feedback and give us an in or an out. And then we need the first through fourth with 2 honorable mentions from you.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, here we go. Are they unlimited? Go up to the novice. There we are. And I need to go up. I need to walk forward because I'm having a hard time reading the name. Okay, first, number 1, Stag with Fawn. Number 2, Blackwater Falls. Number 3, Primate. Number 4, Red Tips Rose. Number 5, Shedding Leaves. Number 6, This Is My Catch. Number 7, Lighthouse. Oh, go back in there. Number 8, game day. Number 9, triplets. 10, boulders. 11, Andine condor. 12, butterfly. 13, 4:17 p.m. 14, child's view. 15, we will fall. 16, blue hydrangea. 17, bubbles. 18, red leaf. 19, twins. 20, connected. 21, waiting. And I believe that's all we have for that. Greg, I'm going to go back to number 1, stag with fawn. I'm going to go ahead and let you give us your comments and give us an in or out.
All right. So, yeah, the first one, nice sharp image here of this bull. Looks like here you can see real sharp detail on the horns, and nice job of with the shallow depth of field, blurring out the background. So the composition is really nice. I wish the fawn there at the bottom had slightly different position, because I can't see any of its face. I know I'm seeing it from behind. I guess I wish I would have been able to see a little bit more of its snout, and not be kind of merged with the ear and with the dad there. Kind of cute with the dad licking at the same time. I wish there was a bit more interaction, like the fawn was at his mouth. It looked like he was licking the fawn, not like the fawn is just annoying kid bothering the dad. So some good ideas here, but I think for this kind of image, I really want to see a better interaction than what we got here. So we're going to take this one out. But good job on the technical, but you got to work on the storytelling too.
Number 1 is out. Number 2, Blackwater Falls.
All right, so I commend the photographer on this one for a different vantage point of very well photographed waterfalls from there on the East Coast. I like the exposure that they did, where you have a good kind of mix of some motion as well as the nice flossy blur that you like to see with waterfalls. I like this little bit of leaves and stuff in the lower left corner. Kind of gives it just a little bit of balance to that big rock that we see there down at the bottom. So nice composition on this one. Really good technical execution. We'll leave this one in. I think when you photograph something that's really well photographed, you really got to knock it out of the park, just because we're so used to seeing good photographs of it. So I'm not sure it'll rise to the top, but overall it's a nice image. So we'll leave it in for now.
Okay, number 2 is in. Number 3, primate.
Nice composition of this baboon here. Good job. It looks like this is at some type of zoo. You can kind of see the fence in the background. Good job by the photographer trying to deal with that to make that out of focus and darken the background. When we're doing a portrait like this, I really expect super sharp, like we saw with the bull elk there in the beginning. He's looking a little soft for me. The eyes are relatively sharp. I think maybe when you're trying to do a shallower depth of field to blur out the background, then with him having such a long nose, we start to lose some sharpness there. This is novice class, so I think it's good for a novice. I'm questioning the why the left side of the image was left into this kind of like rope looking thing. I don't really feel that adds anything to the image. I'd more crop this as a square and take a little bit off the left and get rid of that kind of rope-looking thing and crop off on the right a little bit. That way we're really focused on the face here. We don't have some of these extra extraneous elements like in the upper right-hand corner. You have a kind of a brighter spot. So I think a square crop would be a lot better for you for this image. But overall, I think nice first attempt. We'll leave it in for now. But if it comes out later, those are the reasons.
Number 3 is in. Number 4, red tips rose.
Nice, composition here for a still life. I like how you've made the bottle out of focus to my eye, even though it's kind of brighter with those white highlights in the bottle. My eye definitely goes to the bright yellow flower there, and it's sharper, so my eyes kind of stay up there, which is really nice. I just wish the lighting on this was a little bit better. It looks like you went for some side light to kind of get some nice highlights on the tips there, which is nice. But I feel like the left side or the underside of the rose could use a little bit more luminance. And you can do this in post-processing, or if you have a little reflector or a little white card, you can bounce a little bit more light in there. I think when you're doing an image like this, it's just, a static image like this, you really have the time to perfect all the details about it. And I really want to make that flower just really pop. So I think it needs a little bit more brightness on it to do that. And I think a reflector would have given you a nice glow without overpowering the highlights. So a neat idea, but keep working on this. So we're going to take this one out.
Number 4 is out. Number 5, shedding leaves.
Interesting perspective on this one. I think there's a few compositional things that maybe that put me off a little bit. I like this fence line coming in here from the left at this nice diagonal, but I don't like how it ends there on the right. I don't think you need that little bit of right part of the image, so I would crop it off so I see the fence line comes across the entire image and doesn't stop, because my eye wants to kind of follow that fence line. Strong diagonal, it's white, it's sharp edges. My eyes gravitate towards that, and then I just follow that line down, and then I'm disappointed because it stops. If it had stopped at the edge of the image, then my eyes might be tend to reverse its path and go back up the image, which I think would be better for keeping me in the image. I like how the composition of, we got about 2/3 tree showing the bear and some leaves still on there. It's nice, and then the cluster of leaves. For an image like this, I would have taken a few leaves on the foreground and make them a little bit more visible. We have like this one kind of brown one there, just to give a little bit more, something more for my eyes to land on there in the foreground instead of just a clump of leaves, which is most of it. So sometimes you got to position nature a little bit to help you out. So I think a few things here have been better. I think it's a neat idea. I love the vantage point, but I think a few compositional things could be improved. So we'll take this one out.
Okay, let me get over there. Number 5 is, number 5 is out. Number 6, this is my catch.
All right, so yeah, good job catching. Good moment here. I think you've done a good job freezing the action with the fast enough shutter speed. He is a little soft. It's not as razor sharp as maybe you like. I think for this one, and I know you take an image like this, you're trying to grab the shot before the bird changes or runs away, so you don't have a lot of time. But I think in this one, you need to just crouch down a little bit and get a little bit more, not necessarily dead on angle, but a little bit more angle on it so that his head and the fish head in particular was up a little higher in the frame. And if you squatted down like that to get more of that vantage point, it would place the fish head along with the full bird head, which already is, I guess, against the water in the background, which I think would frame it out much nicer. As it stands, the bird head is nicely framed out by the water, but the fish, especially with the color of the fish being similar to this walkway or whatever its bulkhead it's standing on, just really blends in. And so I don't have the sharpness to bring out that separation, and I don't have a blank background really to bring out the separation. So I think you just need to crouch down really quickly, take your same shot, probably would have helped your camera focus a little sharper too on the bird or the fish. So a neat capture, but just some technical things make this one be out.
Number 6 is out. Number 7, the lighthouse.
So Thomas Point Light, I take this very similar photo. I like the composition. I love the offset composition. I think that was a smart choice for this. I think what really makes this picture, though, is the lighting on it. We have the setting sun, or perhaps rising sun, depending on your vantage point. The low sun angle, we'll call it, is really nice. It's casting some really nice light on the lighthouse. We get some nice kind of highlights on the lighthouse, but still plenty of shadow detail. There's enough, little bit of haze and clouds in the background, so it's not just a blue sky. So I think that works out really well. So I think having that strong light and having the lighthouse offset, I think all really works really nicely together. So we'll leave this one in.
Number 7 is in. Number 8, game day.
Neat idea with this one. I like your composition with the Camden Yard, with the building there, and then we're seeing the billboard. Lots of color in the billboard plays off well with the color of all the orange Orioles fans there mixed in with the crowd. I'm not a fan of this texture that's been applied. I guess it's a wallpaper type texture. It kind of makes the sky look interesting, but then we have these black streaks that are going through the building. And so if you kind of break up this image frame, that building takes up a significant portion of your image frame, probably a good 30-some% of your image frame. So to me, when you give it 30% of real estate, that means it's a third of the interest. So I really don't like seeing the black streaks through some of those windows there on the left. So when you apply a filter like this, I think you got to go in and clean up areas where it doesn't make the object more interesting. I think it makes the sky more interesting, definitely, but I don't think it makes the building more interesting. So I'd get rid of those black streaks we're seeing on there, because I'm not seeing it applied to like the people and the sidewalk. So yeah, I think that to me is really distracting. Maybe you're looking through something causing that. I don't know. Just to me, it seems like a filter applied. So it's those black streaks across that building. That building's a big graphic shape. It's taking up a lot of real estate, so my mind wants to go check it out and see what's going on there. And I see these big smudges, and I want to just kind of rub my finger of my computer screen to get rid of them. And then I realize, no, it's not my computer screen. It's a filter applied. So I think you need to clean this one up a little bit, but the composition is really nice. So I think with some cleanup, it could be a stronger image. We'll take this one out.
Number 8 is out. Number 9, triplets.
Clever idea with these. I think there's a few compositional things that kind of distract me. I don't know. I would have rather seen this as a panorama crop. So take take probably half of that black space on the top, take that out. You probably take off a little bit of the foreground. Really make it really emphasize that it's the long row of the 3 buses there. And I recognize, the photographer is shooting from a slightly higher angle, so we could see the top of the surfboards. If you shot it straight on, you would lose kind of the top of the surfboards, and it would just be this weird antenna-looking thing on top. So I recognize why you need to do that from the top, but you also have to make sure you're squared off, because what I'm seeing is on the right one behind, so the left one and the center one, the surfboard is nice and surrounded by total blackness. On the right one, I'm starting to see something in the back. I'm guessing it's maybe a spare tire on the back of the bus. So I think your vantage point was not perfectly centered. So we're getting that mixed perspective on the different buses. Neat idea. It's great job at a black and white. I won't give it that on your conversion there. So really nice blacks and strong whites, and then good midtones. But I think there's a few compositional things I would change on this one, so we'll take this one out.
Number 9 is out. Number 10, boulders.
I love the light on this one, much like the lighthouse we saw earlier. We got some lower light. We're casting some dark, heavy shadows, which a lot of times can be discouraged by some judges that they don't want such heavy shadows. And I think it works for this. I think the boulders are such a strong element, and they're very heavy themselves, that having the strong shadows behind some of the boulders, I think, plays off of that well. I'm not a fan of the shadow on the left side, right on the left of the edge in the sand there. I'm guessing maybe a person standing there or a pillar or something like that. I've cloned that out. I know this is novice class, so you might not be up to that level of editing. But overall, it's an interesting image. I think there's maybe not enough for me to really gravitate to it as a winner. But we'll leave it in. We'll leave it in for right now. So I think some good ideas here, but I think I need something a little bit more to make it really pop out at me. But we'll leave it in for right now.
10 is in. Number 11, Andean Condor.
All right. So this looks like another one probably shot at some type of zoo or something like that. It looks like I'm seeing very faintly some fence and stuff in the foreground, like you shot through the fence. But good job of shooting through that and focusing the distance so that all kind of blends in, as best as you can when you're in this situation. I think your cropping is pretty good. I might have cropped off a little bit more narrow, taken a little bit off the right, especially with that branch coming in the upper right-hand corner. I want all my focus to go to his face. A lot of interesting character there, interesting colors, it's nice and sharp. But then my eye sees this strong graphic element, this diagonal line in the upper right. And not only is it diagonal, which is attractive, it's a brighter color than some of the other branches in the scene. So my eye goes first to the condor's eye and his face and his beak, but then it shoots off up to the upper right-hand corner. I don't want to shoot off to the upper right-hand corner. I want to stay planted right on his face. So I think you need to crop that in to get rid of that distraction as best you can. If you can dodge it in or burn it in a little bit, burn it in, darken it in a little bit, that'd be even better. But even just cropping in a little bit on the right would be good to de-emphasize that. We'll leave this one in for now because it is kind of interesting bird, and I think the technical aspects of getting past the fence line, blurring out the background, have been done really well. So I want to give credit to that. So we'll leave it in for now, but on the next one.
Okay, 11 is in. See if I can't get over here. 11 is in. Number 12, a butterfly.
12. All right. Good job on execution on this one as well. I gave up early on photographing butterflies because they just don't sit still. I just didn't have the patience. That's why I photograph rocks and trees. They don't move so much. But of the butterfly there, getting the wings spread out. Good job with your shallow depth of field. Blurring out the background. I like how you included this other purple thistle there on the right to kind of balance, give me a little something in the background. I think that's nice. I think this little bit of greenery in the upper right-hand corner, you don't need that. I'd crop out a little bit of that just to take that out. But it's enough out of focus that I think it gives us a little sense of place. I think you take a photograph like this, and a lot of people would tend to just crop in really tight just on the main thistle there and the butterfly, and that would probably be a fine photo as well. But I like how the photographer gave me a little bit wider shot, so I see a little bit more of the plant, a little bit more of the environment, a little bit more of an environmental shot, and so I really like that for this photo. I think all the elements kind of balance out pretty well together, except for that greenery in the upper right. So I appreciate something different of a wider shot. So we'll leave this one in.
12 is in. Number 13, 4:17 p.m.
So interesting. This is one where this, and I've taken similar photos like this, or the same kind of photo, where you're trying to provide some type of emotion or some type of response. And I guess the title, I'm not sure what the title does for me in trying to get, it doesn't particularly give me insight into what you were thinking other than what time of day it was. I think with this type of photo, I usually want to kind of draw some fanciful conclusion or some dream or some emotion of a solitary cloud and the sun in my eyes and the denseness of the tree, the counterbalance of the white versus the dark. But my mind wants to go very theoretical on this. And so the title can be very important in helping the viewer understand what you were going for. So 4:17 p.m., I guess, doesn't convey enough to me. It's an interesting photo, and this is not a photo that a lot of people will take or attempt to take because it isn't really about anything per se. I mean, yes, there's a little white cloud there, but it's really about compositional elements, like placing all the things together, trying to find an interesting arrangement, maybe leaving it more up to the viewer as to what they're to take away from the photo. And so that's kind of interesting. I think that really gets more into the fine art type of photography that we don't really see a lot of in camera clubs. So I appreciate opportunity. So we'll leave this one in, but I would caution on the title. I'm not quite sure how that adds to this image.
Okay, 13 is in. 14, a child's view.
This is nice. I like this composition with this little hand and the butterfly. Butterflies rendered really nicely, mostly sharp. Its eyes maybe aren't razor sharp there, but I think sharp enough, especially with the blurred out background. So I think this is very clever. Just including just enough of the person to kind of give it a sense of place. And then obviously with knowing that butterflies are small, we can put it together as a child's hand. Of course, that's also the title as well. So good job with the framing, keeping the background nice and soft and blurred and not allowing that wing to merge with the darker part of the background. So we have a nice little framing on it. So really good job on this one. Leave this one in.
14 is in. 15, we will fall.
All right, so much like the cloud one we just talked about, so this one, another one into the fine art realm. I really like this one. It kind of speaks to a minimalist type feel, which I think is very interesting. There's definitely, I feel, some like Japanese inspirations from this type of photo. Really neat, and you can. Again, I question the title. We will fall. To me, I like the 2 versus 1, the leaf, and kind of playing off of that somehow in your title. But this is why when I judge, I usually try to ignore titles because I want to make my own interpretation. So something to think about. Does your title help or hurt your image or the story you're trying to tell? But really nice composition on this one. I would have wished there was just a hint more space in the upper left-hand corner so that little side branch of that tree had a little bit more breathing room because you left enough little breathing room on the branch on the right. Would have liked to see just a little bit more at the top there, or just clone out that little side branch altogether. You could do that too. But the middle part of the image is really, really nice. So really great job as a minimalist type image. So we'll leave this one in.
15 is in. 16 is blue hydrangea.
Really nice light on these. I think good job by the photographer going in and darkening the background so those blue flowers really pop out. I love the little pops of white we're seeing in there. So I don't know if that's happy coincidence, if that's how the lighting was, or you helped that out a little bit and brighten that up. But either way, nice job. I think the square crop for this one was a really good choice to keep emphasis because that hydrangea is circular, and so the square kind of frames it out really nicely. So, really nice job on this one. I think this one you could even brighten the flowers a little bit more and maybe increase the saturation a little bit more. This is the kind of image where you can really pump it up a little bit above natural. You don't have to go, crazy radioactive on it. That's usually, to me, doesn't work out well. But I think this one where you could pump it up even further to really make it pop. But overall, really nice image, good composition, your sharpness throughout, good depth of field, a good choice there. So I like this one. Leave it in.
16 is in. 17 is bubbles.
I like this composition. I'm I see on mine, and I know this is, I guess, the way to present this framing that was done, where it's kind of like the picture jumps out of the framing. Not too keen on that. I don't know why the maker decided to add that. I don't think that really adds to the image, especially at the bottom. To me, it's a bit distracting where I have some sort of grayed out sharp edge there in the lower left. It's almost like I'm looking at a laptop screen or something. So I'm not sure your choice there. I'm thinking that doesn't really add to it. So if I look just at the dark part of the image, the main core of the image without the framing, really neat, with the pops of color in the dark background and then these interesting bubble elements here in the foreground. So a lot of different things for me to look at. My eye kind of just moves all around the image, trying to take in all the bits and pieces of it. And that's really what you want for this type of image, to keep the viewer guessing, keep them looking and searching and just moving all around your image. You cropped in a little tight at the top there. Would have liked to have a little bit of breathing room on that so we can see the full bubble there, but I think you cropped enough that it looks intentional enough. And it's white up there. It's not as colorful as the rest of the bubble, so I think it's all right. So I like this one overall. I would love it even more without this strange framing on it, but we'll leave it in for now.
Okay, 17 is in. Number 18, red leaf.
Neat idea on this one, with the single leaf. To me, this one, when you're doing something like this, because you have to really pay attention to how all the elements come together. And for me, I guess I'm a little confused of the red maple leaf, which to me I think tree, I think woodlands, I think grass, I think dirt. And then this background is just rocks and sand and dirt. It's like it's at the beach or maybe it's some strange garden, I guess. So to me, the elements aren't playing together. I get this one emotional feel from the red maple leaf that tells me kind of one thing, and then I get a totally different feeling from these heavy rocks and sand and grit that's not as peaceful and tranquil as this pretty leaf. So my mind is kind of confused. It feels like it's misplaced. And maybe, like I said, it's some type of garden, and that's just how the person designed the garden. And then I guess question that gardener's choices. But so to me, although the composition is fine, kind of rule of thirds-ish, which is fine for a novice, I think the balance of the two pieces together, they just don't jive. So as pretty as the leaf is, it's hard for me to reconcile what's going on here. So we'll take this one out.
Number 18, red leaf, is out. Number 19, twins.
Nice job on this one. I like the framing, getting them, pretty squared off, so we're kind of equal amounts of both. I would have liked to see a little bit more light on Mandolin there on the left. And I know you're capturing the scene, how it was and how the lighting is. So something as you perfect some of your editing skills, I'd go in and maybe brighten up the left boat a little bit. But overall, really good job on your framing. It's very captivating. There's big, bright red holes and then lots of interesting little elements of the boats and the towers and the trawlers there really capture attention. And then having really awesome sky in the background just really pulls it all together. So it's a kind of a tight image we're seeing at the top there, but it's balanced. So I think it works out in this case. Definitely intentional crop, kind of well thought out in the placement. So I like this one. We'll leave it in.
Number 19 is in. Number 20, connected.
And I know I'm leaving a lot in. I'll go through with the sledgehammer quicker when we go through it the next time. A group of 3 flowers, always a good choice. Odd numbers instead of pairs, which is interesting because we just saw a pairing, but that pairing tended to work out. This one, I think, it suffers from the lighting. These flowers, look to me to be past their prime, and that's fine. Plenty of photographers take pictures of flowers past their prime or dying flowers, and they can be interesting. But I think the lighting then needs to kind of complement that cast prime look. And a lot of times people will do these in black and white because it makes them seem more melancholy, kind of plays along with that death theme versus trying to show this as a color image when the color is lacking and the leaves are lacking. So although I like your composition, I think you need to change up the lighting a bit or maybe do some different post-processing on this to really emphasize that kind of melancholy feeling that at least I'm getting from it. So we're going to take this one out.
Okay, number 20 is, see if I can get over there. 20 is out. 21, waiting.
Waiting. I guess this is another one, much like the leaf we just saw, where I feel there's a bunch of different things going on. I like the expression on the gentleman's face, kind of sitting there, maybe just kind of lost in thought. But then we have these big, bold emblems of the Market House and the Go Navy signs. And that grabs my attention. And I don't feel a connection between him and the Market House, which I know is down in Minneapolis, and the Navy sign. So I'm losing connection here, much like I did with the leaf on the rocks. Had this gentleman been in a military outfit, like he was a Navy sailor or a plebe, then I would get that connection of the Navy sailor with the Market House and the Go Navy. But him dressed as a pedestrian, I'm not getting that connection. So to me, I'm a little perplexed. I love if you just framed in just on the gentleman, I think that would have been a fine shot just by itself. Including these other elements gives it a sense of place, but it doesn't connect with the gentleman at all. So I see this disconnect, and I can't really, reconcile the two. Like, if the gentleman had been holding in his hand a pamphlet about plebe week or graduation from the Naval Academy, I can make a connection that he's a father and he's down in Annapolis seeing his, child graduating from the Naval Academy. Then I can make a connection to these other elements of the Market House, Annapolis, and the Go Navy sign. But I don't have that. So I'm left kind of bouncing between trying to reconcile the image, and that leaves me confused. So nice composition, but you got to think about the elements in your composition and how they play and how they connect with each other to tell the story. So I don't think the story's told here, so we're going to take this one out.
Okay, 21 is out, and I think that's the last of our images.
Yeah, and by my count, it's like we got 12 remaining.
I have exactly 12 as well. Perfect. How would you like to handle this?
Right.
We can. I don't think we really need to worry about going through it again, unless you would like to. But we can put. You can start placing if you'd like.
Yes, I will. I will probably start. I'll probably pull a few out just to thin the herd here, and then I'll get placing.
However you'd like to do it.
Let's take out number 10, boulders.
10 is out.
Let's take out number 3, primate.
Number 3 is out.
All right, and I think these are my top selections. So I get, you said first through fourth and 2 honorables?
That's correct.
All righty. Let's see here. We will give... Just trying to make some notes here before I announce them. And all righty, so hold on a second. Didn't give enough. So I need a first, second, and fourth. Okay, I gotta give one more out here. I'm just marking it myself, and then I'll announce them here. right. 2, 4. Oh, guys, I got to get some more out of here. I got to eliminate one more. So I'm going to take out. Okay.
Okay, what do you got?
All right. I have. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So honorable men. Let me do it like this. We'll do. Honorable mention will be number 2, Blackwater Falls.
Honorable mention number 2.
Next honorable mention will be number 13, 4:17 p.m.
Okay, number 13, honorable mention.
All right, and then in 4th place, we're going to have 16, Blue Hydrangea.
16 is rating 4.
And then 3rd place will be number 7, Lighthouse.
Number 7, 3rd place.
And then 2nd place is number 19, Twin.
Number 19, 2nd place.
And 1st place goes to number 15, We Will Fall.
15 is 1st place. Let me get the rest of these out of here. Bob, do you have a list of these guys, or would you like me to pull it up from the email?
Actually, I found the list.
Okay.
So, honorable mention goes to.
Hey, Bob, can I get you to walk up there and out of the speaker, please? Thank you, sir.
Okay, assuming I scored this right. Honorable mention to Kathleen Rush for Blackwater Falls. And also to Sarah Derrick for 4:17 p.m. And 4th place goes to Gwen Neff for Blue Hydrangea. 3rd place goes to Monique for Lighthouse. 2nd place goes to Kathleen Rush for Twins. And 1st place goes to We Will Fall for Sarah Derrick.
Okay, great. Thank you, Bob, for getting us them. Greg, can you tell us a little bit, promote your website again. Tell us a little bit about you. I apologize we don't have a bio to read for you, but while we reset for the Unlimited, can you kind of give us your elevator pitch? So let people know where we can find you.
Sure. So yeah, you can. My website is imagesunderfoot.com. That's all one word, images underfoot. So yeah, I started off much like all of you in camera clubs in Maryland, where I grew up, and I started speaking and judging about 12 years ago. And I really gravitated to it. I loved educating people. I loved it more than I did competing. So I don't often compete in galleries and stuff, although I do on occasion. But I do a lot of speaking and judging throughout the country. I'm kind of on a mission right now to pick up some new clubs, and a lot of clubs like yours still doing Zoom or still doing a hybrid approach. I'm able to judge at clubs across the country. As of right now, I've spoken at 39 clubs across 11 states. And I just picked up another 4 clubs in another 2 states, I think. So wishful thinking that I'll speak in every club and at least one club in every state. But we'll see. For now, I'm just trying to between the ranks. So I definitely consider myself more an educator and an artist than I do a photographer. Obviously, photographer is my medium, but I love the aspect of teaching more so than I do just printing out my own work. Although I have plenty of my own prints hanging around my house. So yes, that's why I do all this judging and speaking at clubs, and I find that that's really my passion. I love taking my own photographs too, but I love sharing just as much or more. So that's why I do this.
That's perfect, Greg. Well, we appreciate you doing that, and especially being such a friend to our club and all those other clubs that you get to be able to enjoy all around the world. COVID was kind of it was actually a terrible thing, but it did also get us into kind of the virtual space, and we get to have great people like yourself, and we've had plenty of great program speakers that came into us remotely. Even though we are hybrid, we've been able to figure all that out. So I really do appreciate you coming back to us. I'm about ready for Unlimited if you are.
Yeah, I'm ready. I got the images up.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go through them now. Here we go. Number 1, Bluebird Landing. Number 2, Professor. Number 3, Dreamsicle Delight. Number 4, Colorful Frozen Bubble. Number 5, Coffee Grinder. Number 6, Turnpike Fire. Number 7, What, Me? Number 8, The Mother Church of Tidewater, Virginia. Number 9, Hibiscus Original. 10, Red Car in Bari. 11, Summer Love. 12, Crane Reflection. 13, Caught in the Headlights. 14, Crested Cara Cara with Breakfast. 15, Steam Engine Driving Wheels. 16, Up, Up, Fly Away. 17, At the Museum. 18, Overgrown. 19, San Diego. Number 20, Thin Ice. 21, Raising the Dome. 22, Toyota logo. 23, no smoking area. 24, gray parrot. 25, face rock. 26, fierce competition. 27, night ascent. 28, Cunningham cabin. 29, mandate nature. 30, bleeding hearts. 31, lonely in blue. 32, get over it. 33, Hummer at B-Balm. 34, Tristan. 35, What's the Secret? 36, Calamity Jane. 37, Hook Ladder Mini Me. 38, Linville Falls. 39, Waiting for the Music. 40, Snake Oil Salesman. 41, Balancing Act. 42, Multnomah Falls. 43, Well, I Am Right. 44, Icelandic Farm Friend. 45, Wisteria and Cream. 46, Outer Banks Surfer. 47, Spinner. 48, The Golden Knight. 49, I See You. 50, State House. Number 51, Dewdrop Lotus. Number 52, Coming Through. Number 53, Portrait of a Happy Life. 54, Backyard Sculptor. 55, Tudor Friar Rose. 56, Ruins. 57, Flower Center 2. 58, Oh My. 59, Oktoberfest 2023. 60, Smoke in Autumn Leaves. 61, Can You See Me Now? 62, Aliens. 63, Scholar. 64, Old Bedford Sheriff. 65, Sunrise Bottle. 66, Ancient Juniper. And that is it, Greg. Are you still with us? Do we still have you awake over there?
I am with you, and I got my work cut out for me in this category.
That you do. A reminder, we have first through fourth and 7 honorable mentions. When you're ready, we're going to start back at number 1, Bluebird Landing.
All righty, let's start there. All right, so I like the wing position of this bird. I think there's a couple things with this one. Really good job with the out of focus. We get some nice bokeh or bokeh, however you want to say it, in the background. And on the left 2/3 of the image, it's pretty nice. I got a mix of green bokeh and some whites and some off-whites and stuff like that. And it blends all pretty nicely. On the right side, though, I got tons of white in the background. And it's really, to me, distracting. Really competes with the bird wing there that's nicely backlit. And then there's some weird pentagon-shaped light flare there in the upper right, and so that's kind of distracting. And so a bunch of things there I'm not liking on the right side of the frame, though, those little triangle things down there in the bottom, right where the white stuff ends. And the bird is not as razor sharp. You know, you could forgive some of those background details, and it's basically solar flare because you're looking straight into the light. But if the bird was razor sharp, I could forgive those things. And then we have kind of a brown vertical streak coming through his left shoulder, or right of center of bokeh down there. So a bunch of different things in the background. Even though it's out of focus, the elements can still be distracting, even if they're out of focus. So for advanced class, we're going to take this one out, or unlimited class.
Okay, number 1 is out. Number 2, Professor.
Nice portrait here. I know we have another one of this fellow later on, so I'm going to assume it's different makers. Went to the same, got the same sexy model to model for them. This nice gentleman. I like the lighting on this. I tend to want to go into a monochrome for this one, a black and white or a sepia. I think would lend well to kind of the older gentleman look, especially with the pipe. It's a very old style pipe. I think that would just bring out the photo even more, really create that more nostalgic, older scholar feeling even more so. But as it stands, the lighting's nice. I'd maybe dull down the fingertips there a little bit on the book. Just maybe bring about the same luminosity as what we're seeing on his right wrist there, just a little dimmer, just to keep the face and that hand and that pipe to be the brightest part of the images. The book is fine. I just don't want to go down and see those fingers and get stuck down there at the bottom. I want to stay up in the middle of the frame. So a few little tweaks would elevate this one even further. But as it stands now, it's really nice. We'll leave this one in.
Number 2 is in. Number 3, Dreamsicle Delight.
Interesting coloring on this. Not exactly sure what the photographer did to create this look, but it looks really nice. He's a little tight in the frame. I wish there was a little bit more breathing room at the bottom of the frame with his wing and his tail. There's space there, but I wish there was a little bit more space. We got kind of one little flare spot in the upper left. I think that's something in the Unlimited class you should be capable of cloning out or just darkening down, so I don't see that bright spot up in the upper left. But otherwise, really superior sharpness on the body of the dragonfly. Very interesting color, really enhancing the color and the translucence looking of this butterfly. So really nice. Again, a few little tweaks could make it even better. But as it stands now, it's a keeper. So leave that one in.
Number 3 is in. Number 4, Colorful Frozen Bubble.
Neat idea. I've seen stuff like this done before with the bubble on a bit of snow. I think for me, although the bubble is nice and sharp and interesting, and we can see the little snowflakes against it, which are also nice and sharp, there's not enough to this composition for me. We have a lot of white down there in the bottom. I don't think you need as much snow as you show there. I'd cut that in half. And the same with the black on top. I don't know if I need as much of that. Maybe more of a pano on this framing on this one, just to tighten it down a little bit and just really emphasize the long line of white in the bubble. So I think this one, I don't know if I guess I don't mind the solitary bubble versus, something we saw in the novice class with the multiple bubbles. But to me, I think there's just not enough interest to really captivate my attention, especially with some of the other photos in this category tonight. So we'll take this one out.
Number 4 is out. Number 5, Coffee Grinder.
Really love this still life here. Really nice composition. I like the coffee beans strategically scattered about this really old grinder. Pretty good job with the lighting. I love the top half. Of the light on the beans kind of going into the grinder, a little bit light on the handle, some nice kind of spotlighting on the top of the grinder. And I like the foreground. And then you try to darken the edges, and I think you need to go even darker down there. I think I don't think you need to see as much light on the left side of the grinder and the beans. I think you could put those more into shadow, not too dark that you can't see them and appreciate them. But much like some of these beans we see in the foreground where they're lit, but they're just darkened a bit. So I think you got too much light still on the left side of the frame. Even the right side of the frame, I'd maybe come in just a little tighter on that. Really keep that focus up there on the top part of the grinder. And then everything else is just supporting elements in darken and somewhat in shadow. So just less luminosity on the rest of that lower half of the image. I think will make this one really pop out. We'll hold on to this one now. Might claim an honorable mention. We'll see how it pans out. So we'll keep it for now and go on to the next one.
Number 5 is in. Number 6, Turnpike Fire.
Really nice action shot here. Good composition. I like your cropping here on the left. crop out enough of the car, but still you can see the truck and see obviously the focus is on the mobile home there engulfed in flames. Good job separating, keeping the firemen separate so we can appreciate each of them. The roles they're playing with the hose, and then we even see some of their tools there in the foreground. So really good composition on this one, and I like how you just got smoke all in the background. So really good framing. I can see this as a cover shot in a newspaper, definitely. So keep this one in.
Number 6 is in. Number 7, What Me?
A nice monochrome conversion on this one. Really like the whites on the feathers, really popping out, but we're not losing detail there. Good job darkening the background so the bird really stands out. Very hard with these heron type birds. They like to be in the marshes, and so there's always grasses behind them. So good job keeping some separation there by your editing choices. I like the tight framing on this one. I've been saying in some of their ones, framing's too tight. I think on this one it works, just because it's got that big back, and that's nice and centered in the frame, and then it kind of has a nice little curve around to the head, and then we got the legs there. So everything kind of balances really well together. It would have been awesome if the background could have been even blurred, more softened and blurred out. But recognize where these birds hang out, and so you're just making the best of the situation you got. So leave this one in.
Number 7 is in. Number 8, The Mother Church of Tidewater, Virginia.
Yeah, so this one, okay light on this one. It's a little flat. Maybe I would work on punching it up a little bit with maybe some contrast. I'm glad to see some clouds in the sky, so we don't just have a plain blue sky. But for this one, it seems it's a little unbalanced. We have the steeple off to the right here, and I guess I wish there was something different on the left. And I know in some of the other images, like in the novice class, we saw the Thomas Point Lighthouse, and I talked about how the negative space worked for that particular image. And I think a lot of that one had to do with the superior lighting that was on it, and this one doesn't have that lighting. So having it off center, you've really got to keep me grounded on that right half and really just loving that right half of the image so that the negative space plays off of that. And so for this one, not having really, really great light on it, I don't think it works well. So we're going to take this one out.
Number 8 is out. Number 9, Hibiscus Original.
So here's another one. We've seen a couple of these tonight with a flower. Someone took a nice flower and then went and darkened the background so the flower pops. I don't think this one works as effectively as some of the other ones you've seen. I think the flower itself is just not bright enough, not really popping. I talked about that shot of blue hydrangeas earlier, where you can even pump up some of those flower shots even more to really make them pop. This is a similar case where just the white is just not rich enough to me. It's kind of in shadow almost. And really just take your white slider in Lightroom and crank that up or work with a tone curve. And just really, if you're going to kind of square off a flower like this and darken the background, you want it to be all about the flower. You just want that flower to look beautiful and luscious and gorgeous. And to me, this one's kind of meh. And so I think you need to just pump it up a bit more. So I think the composition's fine, the sharpness is fine, but just more editing to just really make that flower just leap off the page will make it a lot more successful. So we'll take this one out.
Number 9 is out. Number 10, Red Car in Bari.
Yeah, so here's another one where the title maybe complexes me because you say it's about the red car. The red car takes up so little of the real estate, and it's more about car and people or something like that. Or maybe it's this beautiful, very interesting restored car, and all the pedestrians could seem to care less about it. They're all looking in different directions, all doing their own thing. Even a lady with a stroller there in the background. So I think in this one, it's much like that one we saw, the gentleman, the waiting with the Navy sign. I want to see the elements play together. And I guess I don't understand this beautiful car going down the street and all these people ignoring it and how those parts of the image play together, especially this gentleman on the far left of the screen in the blue shirt and jeans. Got some strong light on the side of his face. My eye wants to gravitate to him. And he's totally looking out of frame, don't know what he's doing. And then I catch the guy behind him, holding up his hand. And so my eye wants to stay over there and check out these guys with the strong lighting on them. My eye doesn't spend much time on this beautiful car in the background, which is more interesting. I think if you had all those people in the foreground gone and you just had the car with all the spectators in the back, all of them who seem to have their phones out taking pictures of it, I think that would be a compelling photo, because then I'd see the interaction between the spectators taking the car on the street, and then there'd be a connection. But with these people in the front all looking different ways and all oblivious to what's going on in the background, I've lost that connection. So we'll take this one out.
Numbers 10 is out. 11, Summer Love.
Very interesting. I've never seen two geckos canoodling. And really interesting with the curves that you happen to catch just with their bodies and their tails and the feet. There's all kinds of interesting curves and lines going on here. Some of that darkness in the very frame, I'd maybe crop that out a little bit. I see you kind of went to a more narrow pano type cropping. I think you take it down just a little tighter, get rid of a little bit of those dark spots at the very bottom. I think you don't need that, and there's there'll still be enough there to offset the whiteness. Because really it's all about the geckos. And then much like the flowers, I think those geckos could be pumped up a little bit more on the contrast, maybe a little bit more on saturation or vibrance, just to really make that, I'm guessing the male one, that's the brighter one, just really pop out. But really great composition, very interesting capture. Never seen anything like this. So we'll leave this one in.
11 is going to stay in. Number 12, Crane Reflection.
This one's really, really clever. This came up on the walkthrough. I was curious if it was a reflection on the water, if it was done on the computer, and given how perfect the reflection is, I'm guessing it was doubled on the computer. But regardless of how it was done, really, really clever. I think as a graphic element, really a lot of interesting graphic shapes here. Really great lighting on this. There's some strong light on the. Oh, it's not mirrored because the lighting's on the bottom, so it is some stuff in reflection. Interesting. All right, so see, delving into the photo even further, which is really what you want to see. So, yeah, some strong light on the very top of the crane, but I think that makes it pop out a little bit more. And then now, since I don't see that in the mirrored reflection at the bottom, I know that it isn't just a computered, doubled, mirrored image. So anyway, so now I'm even more curious as to what the heck's going on here. But very interesting. A lot of different things going on here. As a graphic, kind of abstract, it's interesting. Just as a industrial kind of shot, kind of cool. So a lot of different interesting things here to look at and study and try to figure out what the heck's going on here. So I really like this one. Leave this one in.
12 is in. 13, Caught in the Headlights.
This one, I guess I'm not sure how the title plays into this, other than we're seeing kind of some spotlight on these two cacti here. Good job blackening out the background, so I don't see what's going on there. But when you do that, much like some of the flower shots you've seen before, you're telling me you're creating something. Because if this was headlights on it, I'd see some of the background somehow, but since I'm not, it tells me it's artificial. So if you're going artificial, I think you really pump up color and saturation, some of the shadow detail, especially on that cacti on the right there. So I think it really just needs to pop out at me more. And usually in my photography, I go for a more naturalistic look, and this does look a little bit more naturalistic lighting. But when you're doing art, which I think this is intended to be, you need to kind of take it up a little bit and make it a little bit more punchy. So we'll take this one out.
13 is out. 14, Crested Caracara with Breakfast.
Good job on sharpness on this one. Really, really nice sharp on his beak, his eye there, and this kind of frog lizard thing he has in his mouth. Good job blurring out the background. The background's a little bright, but in this case, when the bird is dark, I think it works well. Still effective framing. I might have selectively gone into some of these brighter branches there down around his feet maybe darken those a little bit if you could. But that's kind of just a nit. Really good composition. Love that you've given enough space around his head and the left side of the frame to kind of balance him out. So he's slightly off center, which I think is nice. Works well with his feet on the rock like that. So I think all the elements play really well together. So we'll leave this one in.
14 is in. 15, steam engine driving wheels.
Another really nice monochrome conversion on this one. Some really nice blacks and whites, and then good kind of tones in between. Much like the crane one, really cool kind of graphic elements. So from just a graphic kind of abstract, it's interesting as a close-up of a train and the train mechanism. Also interesting, so definitely appeals to a bunch of different people. It's just a few little cleanups. Some of the light we're seeing on the grass behind the wheels, especially there on the very lower right corner, and then also on the lower left corner. I'd darken that up a little bit just to keep that all in shadow. So just a few little cleanups, but otherwise the main rods and pistons, everything look really, really cool. So really nice job with your, what I'm sure is a bunch of post-processing. I'm sure the lighting wasn't like this by itself. So really good job editing this one. So leave this one in. 15
is in. 16, up, fly away.
Now I got a bunch in, so we'll do a hack job there at the end. Interesting photo here, capturing couple here, and then I guess it's his arm there reaching up to fire the flame there, maybe just proposed or something like that. So maybe the little story here is kind of interesting. So it's a nice shot. I like the framing here, but I think for tonight, for some of the other images, I see they're just more interesting, more creative. So I'm just going to take this one out now. Although it's a fine image, I just don't think it has some of the star power that some of the other images that we've seen tonight does.
Okay, number 16 is out. 17 is at the museum.
Another fine image here with I like the couple here. You did a good job waiting for a good moment for them to be framed out amongst the floor and the light there. So I think they stand out well. So I think your timing was really good. On this one, I'd like to see a little bit more contrast in the walls. In your black and white, you got the gentleman there. He's got some dark black in his shirt and his hair there. But then the rest of it is kind of this middle gray. And to me, it feels like a little drab. And that could have been what exactly it looked like and what it would look like in a monochrome conversion. But I think to really kind of tie it all together with how dark that sweater is or shirt he's wearing, I think darkening the walls or even maybe darkening the stairs in the background would just kind of make it all a little bit more uniform instead of having him so dark, that shirt so dark with no detail, and then everything else is middle gray. We'll leave it in for now. I think it's got a lot of good things going for it.
Okay, 17 is in. 18 is overgrown.
Interesting on this one. I'm guessing this is some type of infrared shot with all those white leaves. I think that was a good choice for this one to have all those leaves white, allows the truck to pop out more. I like this low vantage point too, so we kind of look on it, makes that truck a lot more ominous, really poking out at us. Good job with your composition, and we're seeing just a little bit of the back tire there, and I think the framing is really nice. Maybe a little heavy-handed on the contrast. Kind of interesting because other photos have been saying more contrast. So it might be a little bit dark, especially up there in the cab. I would like to see just a little bit more light in the interior. We'll leave this one in for now.
18 is in. 19 is San Diego.
Neat idea here. I think this one I don't know that we needed as much sky. I know you're trying to frame out the clouds there, but this is one where we kind of go by we talk about the rule of photography and you don't put your horizon in the center, and people don't necessarily understand what that means. And I guess really the meaning behind it is don't split your photo 50-50 so that the viewer can't figure out which is more important element, the top half or the bottom half. And so I kind of feel like that's what I see in this image. I got some interesting clouds. I get some nice sky, kind of interesting. But I really like the lights on the bridge and the skyline there in the background and the reflections in the water. So I kind of feel like it's two images. And so if you kind of cut this image in half, top half being clouds at night, kind of interesting. Bottom half being the bridge lit up and the reflections of water, very, very interesting. So when I look at that and I say 50-50, so you allotted 50% of your real estate to a part of the image that is way less interesting than the bottom part, which is way, way more interesting. And that's where the rule of thirds comes in, where you put more emphasis on one side. And it's not necessarily has to be exact, where you divide up exactly in thirds. But I think this case where you want to include the whole cloud without cropping it out, but then that tells me that cloud is important, and I don't think it is. So I would crop all that, a good chunk of that top part out, and have just a little bit of clouds. I mean, with these two major clouds that overlap the bridge, I think are good enough. I don't think you need that top center cloud. We get that it's at night. We get that there's clouds out. The bottom half of the image is where the action's at, where the best parts are. And I don't think you need that top half of the image to emphasize that image. I don't think it emphasizes it, and I don't think it adds to the story as a supporting character. So we're going to take this one out.
19 is out. 20, thin ice.
So this is one interesting to talk about rule of thirds. I kind of follow like a rule of thirds. We have 1/3 of ice on a beach, 1/3 of water, frozen water with some icebergs there and some interesting color, and then 1/3 sky with some really cool colors in there. So I kind of this like parfait of 1/3, 1/3. So I think this is one where, again, where the balance is maybe a little off and you kind of have to pick and choose a little bit. I think the background with that blue ice and these really cool colors in the sky is more interesting to me than all this ice on the beach. So I would take out maybe half of that ice on the beach, so that's a little bit more emphasis towards the top parts of the image. Still enough, you can still leave enough ice there to kind of anchor the image, but I think you have too much of it. So we're going to take this one out.
Number 20 is out. 21, raising the dome.
I like the composition on this one with the crane and get some nice light on the crane. And, whatever the heck it's doing with this dome here. The problem with this one for me is that when I see it, the dome is just so dark. And that's probably the way it was in real life. There's probably a building or something there on the left shadowing it. Because we're seeing some great side light on the crane. You see, especially where the letters BMI are. So there's definitely some great side light coming in, but if none of it's hitting the dome, that tells me there's a building or some other obstruction. So now I have this big, dark mass right smack dab in the center of my photo. Now it's a nice curve, a nice semicircle there, which is a pleasing shape, and it's framed out nicely by the blue sky. But it's just this big black mass. And so we talk about in composition about you having highlights in your photo. If you have a really bright white blown out highlights like in your clouds, your eye gets drawn to those bright whites. Well, the reverse can be true too. If you have a big dark mass, it's like a black hole. It just sucks you down. And so that's what I feel in this image. I see the image and I quickly get sucked into this big black mass right smack dab in the center of the photo. And I don't want to get stuck there because there's really lots of other cool stuff going on. And, well, like I said, the crane has interesting lighting on it. There's some nice architectural elements underneath the dome, but my eye doesn't spend much time there. Just stays stuck, fixated on this big black thing, trying to figure out what's going on there and what it looks like if I could peel back the shadows. So I think this is a case where you need to artificially go in and just increase those shadows in post-processing and brighten that up a little bit just to balance everything out a little bit further. So we'll take this one out.
21 is out. 22, Toyota logo.
Very clever on this one. I really like high points for creativity, we'll say. With this Toyota logo, it's reflecting some sort of trees or something in the background. And then we kind of have this kind of like almost a lens baby or selective focus kind of look to it. So really neat. And then all the out of focus stuff in the dark in the background, just it blends in, but it also provides some context maybe but he balances, I think, all really nicely. A few little bright spots on the left, balance the really bright boldness of the emblem. I think if you cropped in tight on the emblem, although that might look interesting, I really love this wide shot. I think that's really, really nice for that. Much like some of the ones I talked about tonight, where when you have stuff off center, if the other stuff is supporting, if it kind of complements, then it works. And so this is a case where the stuff on the left half of the screen does complement, does kind of add to this kind of interesting artistic photo taking here. So really, really cool photo. We'll leave this one in.
22 is in. 23, no smoking area.
Interesting. I like this composition on this. I think with him placed off to the right and seeing all the tents in the background, love capturing the rain there. I'm curious about some of the light and shadows. Like when I look down at his foot, the one that's uplifted, there's a kind of bright spot behind it that looks a little off to me. And so I wonder if that's just how you edited it and you went down and put a vignette or something like that on and tried to darken some parts of it. So I think maybe I missed the spot down there by his foot. I would kind of darken that down a little bit because it pulls my eye down there because it's a strong shape with his foot uplifted and the bright around it. And it's interesting. Like I got all this whole other 98% of the photo and I'm focused on his foot. But that's what happens when we're not paying attention to some of these little details. But I like him holding the soda can there, working on a cigarette, trying to stay warm there in the rain. So clever. But a few little cleanups I think would make this even better. We'll leave it in for now.
23 is in. 24, gray parrot.
Nice light on the chest of this parrot. I wish he had a little bit more light on his face, especially his eye. I'm wondering if it's because his head is slightly downturned. He's not picking up the same light that his chest is. I think that's easily corrected in post-processing. Just go and brighten up around his eye, especially between his eye and his beak. Just brighten that up a little bit. The composition is nice. Out-of-focus stuff in the background is well handled. But I think you just need to tweak that face a little bit because as it is, my eye goes right to his chest. And that's the most interesting lighting on the bird is his chest and his leg there. And I'd rather have the most interesting part be his face. So we're going to take this one out, but I think with some edits, you could enter it in a different competition and do well.
24 is out. 25, face rock.
Yeah, this was, so here's a case where the title really saved the day because I did not see the face at first. And then when we heard the title, I was like, what the heck? And then, I cranked my neck sideways. And I go, oh, yeah, it's a profile. Like at first I see the nose and I see the lips there. And I don't know if she's crying, all the bird stuff on there. So this is a case of the title really kind of clues me in to what you saw there. So it's kind of interesting. I don't think you need as much of the surf there in the foreground with the nice, even though it's nice golden light on it. If it's really about the space, about this interesting rock and the kind of waves and stuff around it. Again, we're just kind of doing this 50-50 where I got 50% golden reflection goodness and 50% space, interesting thing for me to look at. And then I'm playing ping pong again, tennis back and forth between top half and bottom half. So I think you need to lob off a bunch of that bottom half. You don't need so much of that, especially right down here at the very bottom, really bright spot. Wants to pull my eye down there. So I'd get rid of a lot of that, just focus on a little bit of that golden goodness, and then the waves and then the face rock there. And I think there'll be a better composition. So we're going to take this one out, but recrop it, and I think you do better.
25 is out. 26, fierce competition.
Great. Really great kind of stop action on this relay here. The guy's reaching back to grab the baton. For those of you who've never seen relay races, the guy reaches back. It's the job of the person catching up to hand the relay. It's not the job of the guy behind to grab it. So the guy behind actually has to put the baton into your hand, and then when he feels it in his hand, he can grab it and go. So that's how that works. So you can see their focus on going fast and going forward, and then just reaching back. They dude, give me the baton so I can get going. So really nice, really good lighting on this one. You know, this is a case where we have some strong lighting, but against these darker gentlemen with the darker outfits, it works really well and really kind of adds some nice pop to what otherwise might have been a darker image. So really great on this one. Leave this one in.
26 is in. 27 is Night Ascent.
This one is curious. I almost like it was light painted. If you've done light painting before, we kind of dabble the light around. Looks like that's the kind of effect that was done here. I suspect mostly in post-processing. But it's done pretty well. Overall, I think it's a fine image. The composition's good. I like this kind of dabbled light. I think there's some stronger images tonight, so we're going to take this one out, but I think it's a solid image nonetheless.
27 is out. 28, Cunningham Cabin.
All right, this one, so kind of like the truck we saw before, where some really heavy contrast. I think in this case, it's really too heavy. The cabin is just blending into the background. So when you apply that kind of heavy processing to that whole foreground, everything just merges together. So this is a case where you got to go in and then lighten up some of the grass area in between the two houses there, or maybe there on the roof. So I can kind of see that, yeah, it actually is a roof with some vegetation on it. It's not just part of the background. So it's all kinds of blends together to me. So it's just very heavy-handed. And so I'm not getting distinction of all the elements. So we'll take this one out.
28 is out. 29, Mandate Nature.
This one, I'm not sure what to make of this one. Some type of artistic statement. It reminds me of some old Edward Weston photos. He did one called like Civil Obedience or something like that, where he had the nude model with the same kind of gas mask. So it kind of makes me think of that. It's clever. I don't know. I guess I don't know quite what to make of it, and that kind of keeps me guessing, which can be a good thing. I think in this case it is a good thing. I have to kind of think about it a little bit. Try what is the artist trying to say here? But I think it's very clever. I like the depth of field and the kind of blurring out the gas mask there in the background. So very, very clever on this one. So definitely points for creativity. We'll leave this one in. 29
is in. 30, Bleeding Hearts.
Much like some of the other ones, and I feel like I'm repeating myself now, but you're taking a nice composition of the flowers and then darkening out the background. It works fine. I think in this case, the flowers it's not enough going on for me. The background, we darkened it up, but I can still see some stuff that's still competing with the Bleeding Hearts. So I think you made the best of the situation, but it just doesn't jump out at me as much as I would like. So we'll take this one out.
30 is out. 31, Lonely in Blue.
Yeah, so here's another one where I'm struggling with the balance, the interaction between this blue bottle, very captivating, very bright, vibrant color, and then this single dead rose. And we have a very tight crop on the top there, so we've left huge amount of real estate for the blue bottle and very little for the dead flower. So I'm struggling to balance it all. Maybe if we had a bit more white space above the flower, so it was a little bit more balanced, showing a little bit more of negative space along with the dead flower, we kind of parallel and balance off with the blue base. But as it stands, it's kind of 1/3, 2/3. It just doesn't work for me. I'm not really feeling the connection between this bright blue manufactured looking bottle and the dead flower. I think that was maybe more of an antique looking bottle or something had a little bit more character, something that played off the cringiness of the dead flower. It would maybe marry better together. But as it stands, the elements aren't coming together for me. So I'll take this one out.
31 is out. 32, Get Over It.
Really like the composition of this one. Love the kayak, the red there, kind of pops out really nicely. Love this striation and these kind of diagonal lines of the water. So I'm guessing some type of drone shot or something maybe. But very interesting there. There's one little white stick or something like that in the water on the left side, kind of just centered. I don't know what the heck that is, but I can point that out. It's very distracting. I don't know why it gravitates to those little details, but it does. But very nice overall. Good lighting, good composition. So, yeah, clever on this one. Keep it in.
32 is in. 33, Hummer at B-Balm.
Nice composition on this one. I may speed up a little bit because I know we still got tons to get through. And then I got to go back and pick your winner. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. I like this one overall, but I think I need a little bit more something. Some nice lighting on the Hummer there, but a little bit too much shadow on the flower. I wish you brought that shadow out a little bit on the flower so it balanced out a little bit more. But I think some more editing, you can bring this one out a little bit more. So we'll take this one out.
33 is out. 34, Tristan.
Really cool portrait on this one. Love this side light and kind of half face in shadow and half in light. So here's a great example, unlike some of the others we talked about tonight, where we got nice bright light on the face, and then there's a little bit of light on the hands just so they don't disappear into the darkness, but it's subdued significantly compared to the face. So my eye sees those hands, yep, good supporting characters, but then my eye stays on that face, which has the brightest light, and of course, a nice catch light there in the eyeball too. So it all balances and plays well together. It's a kind of very dark, moody portrait. Black and white, I think it was an excellent choice for this type of lighting scheme as well. So we'll leave this one in.
34 is in. 35, What's the Secret?
This was like a nice, what I call a nice photojournalistic shot. We got good lighting on the subjects. Sharpness is good. You kind of captured the moment. I like your framing. Kept a little Maryland flag there on his lapel in the shot. I think that was good choice there. I could see this running in a magazine article or a newspaper article as capturing some interaction between these people. Don't know who they are. Nothing from the East Coast anymore. But to me, I think it's a good news shot, but not necessarily an art camera club winning shot. So we'll take this one out. Y'all still there?
35 was out. 36 is Calamity Jane.
All right, 36. So kind of similar to the last one, I see this as kind of a grab shot. I think your composition is fine, kind of balancing out Calamity Jane there with the big barrel. So I think your framing is fine. I just heard, drinking a pop on a break, I guess doesn't really speak out to me. I wish there was maybe something more going on or something different going on here. So I think it's a nice shot, but just doesn't jump out at me enough. So I take this one out.
36 is out. 37, Hook Ladder Mini Me.
All right. So here's another one where we've got the title. I guess I'm trying to see a connection between this little tiny car and what I guess is this big brother there in the background, got a similar type of wheel. But I think the composition is a little off here. We're really tight on the left side of the frame where the hook and ladder car is right up against the frame. And then I got a big bunch of dead spot behind it. I can kind of see underneath the big truck and into some brighter stuff in the background. And so that's one of the brighter parts of the frame. So my eye wants to go back there. So I think you need to crop off, I'd say, the distance between the back fender of the toy car and the edge, crop off half of that. But also get rid of that red spot in the upper right with the yellow kind of backward C. I think that's all distracting. I would crop that off on the right. I think the balance would be a little bit better. So it's an okay shot. I think the lighting needed to be a little bit better to really just make that little toy car pop out a little bit more. Maybe recover the shadows a little bit more or something. So neat attempt, but a few little flaws. So we'll take this one out.
37 is out. 38, Linville Falls.
Really like this one. Good composition. I think you could tone down the rock on the right just a smidgen. So that my emphasis stay, and then maybe the rock on lower left as well. I toned down the highlights on that one a little bit. The highlights on the rock in the center of the tree is fine. I think that plays well and leading me right up to the falls. Good job with the darkening of all the other elements to kind of keep emphasis on the falls and the framing and kind of vignette you've created there. So nice on this one. Leave it in.
38 is in. 39, waiting for the music.
Clever idea with the vertical panorama. Cropping on this one, I think it works well for this image. Kind of keeps the people tight in there. Then we go up to the Preservation Hall, famous jazz in New Orleans. It's down that way. And so interesting, but I think there's some other images that captivate me more. I think the people in the foreground are just, I wish I could see their faces or different interaction between them. I like the people behind them, the guy laughing and the girl maybe shouting. Maybe there's some more interesting characters than these three ladies in the foreground. So interesting idea, but again, you gotta have just the right subjects at the right, capturing the right moment, decisive moment, and I think we don't have the right moment here. So we're ready to take this one out?
39 is out. 40 is snake oil salesman.
I like this one, really clever. I think going to black and white, good job on this one. It allows the bright checkered suit there to really pop out. I think composition is really good. And I'm just going to speed it up and say I like it, leave it in, let's move on.
40's in. 41, balancing act.
Nice job on this one, nice and sharp on the bird. I like his position in the frame. We got a lot of kind of craziness going on in the background, but it's blurred out nicely. It looks like it's probably done artificially with some type of filter, because in the upper right, I see some type of branch that's kind of has a weird kind of effect going through it, which tells me the background's been kind of artificially manipulated. But I think you've done a good job overall, kind of taking care of that busy background so that the bird and the sunflower there really pop out. But you could just clean up that effect a little bit in the upper right-hand corner, as well as the kind of lower right edge there of some of the flowers. But otherwise, nice photo. Leave it in. Move on.
41 is in. 42, Multnomah Falls.
All right. Nice classic waterfall in Oregon. Well photographed. Again, it's one of these things you find a very well mature subject, they call it. Something that's been photographed a lot. But I think this one's a little different than other vantage points I've seen. A lot of green, and I like it. I think it's balanced out well. The framing's really nice. Don't necessarily you need the big white border around it, but that's just my preference. But otherwise, it's nice photo, well done. So we'll leave it in.
42 is in. 43, well, I am right.
Yeah, so the title trying to kind of get me to add into something what's going on here between these. Good job getting focused on these people and blurring out the background. Looks like it might have been enhanced a little bit with the blur, because I'm seeing some weird kind of effects on their sleeves and around her bosom there and her, I guess what her right shoulder is. You just be careful when you add those blur effects in the background. You don't bleed in too much to your subjects, so then I can kind of see what you were doing there. So I think some neat attempts here, but I guess I'm not really quite understanding the interaction, not kind of feeling it, the interaction between these two people. So we'll take this one out.
43 is out. 44, Icelandic farm friend.
Nice composition on this one. I like how we're a little bit wider frame, so we can see the horse in its native environment with the little hillsides, different layers of color going on in the background. I like how you call them kind of mid-trot, coming up across the road to greet you. So really nice. Nice, pleasing image. Doesn't necessarily wow me, but I think it's a nice capture, showing these horses in their environment. So we'll leave that in.
44 is in. 45, Wisteria and Cream.
I still got like 20 to go. So, all right, this one, I guess I'm, again, 50-50. I got this wonderful bowl, got some interesting gold gilding on the handle, some weird spotlights going on it. And then this flower, which looks really, really interesting, is kind of off here to the background and cropped off strangely. So I'm like, what is the photo here? Is it of the pot? Is it of the flower? because my mind's conflicted. So we're going to take this one out, but same kind of comments I gave to some other photos that's similar flaws.
45 is out. 46, Outer Banks Surfer.
Really great job on capturing the action, capturing the surfer here. Really good pose, create some good dynamics, and then that wonderful swash of curvature of the wave there. So she just cut through. So this is really good and very timely because I've been watching that surfing show on Netflix. So all up on the surfing lingo. So really, really neat. Good capture. Love it. Keep it in. Move on.
46 is in. 47 is Spinner.
All right, so an interesting way to take what appears to be a real flower and then manipulate it. I think square crop works well for this. So I think, to me, this is a nice gimmick, a nice effect, but it's got great color. It really pops out at you. But I think I need something else. I don't know if I need multiples of these or whatnot. I think just by itself, there's not enough for me on this one. So clever technique, but it kind of ends there for me. So take this one out.
47 is out. 48, the Golden Knight.
Nice color on this horse. I know you're working in stadium lighting. Even if it's outdoors, a lot of times different color temperatures. So you did a good job kind of getting a good white balance on that. So yeah, really golden color really pops out of this horse. I wish the lady had a slightly different posture. Her hands are up. I wish her hands were doing something different. Maybe her face had a different look to it. I think you just didn't capture the best possible movement for the rider. The horse is beautiful. And then you got the background there, the fans and stuff like that. So the composition is good. I think just look for a different frame where the woman is showing up a little bit differently. So we'll take this one out.
48 is out. 49, I See You.
All right, yeah, owls in their natural environment, it's great to just even spot them. Owls, not quite sharp enough. Something like this, you really got to get it razor sharp. And I guess I'm not even seeing even the tree bark is not as sharp as I would expect. Using a long lens, your depth of field could be a challenge. So you really got to get in there. Some nice catch light in the owl's eye. But I think he needs to be a little bit sharper to really stand out amongst the tree. I don't necessarily think you need the wider framing. You probably could have come in a little tighter on this, cut off the sides. Maybe a square crop, maybe a square with the owl and tree slightly off center. Might be a little bit better. I don't think you need as much of the background as you showed. So a couple things wrong with this one. We'll take it out.
49 is out. 50 is State House.
Yeah, nice shot of downtown Annapolis at night. And I think, again, it kind of ends there. I think, nice golden color from the different temperature light on the street. I guess I'm used to seeing these photos in black and white. It's more of an old time, like Aubrey Bodine type photo. And maybe I just studied his work too much to appreciate a color version. So it's a fine night shot. But I don't think there's enough uniqueness there to really make it stand out as something that's kind of your own unique creative stamp on it versus just kind of replicating some similar shots that have already been done before. So we'll take this one out.
50 is out. 51 is Dewdrop Lotus.
Nice shot of Lotus. I love the sharpness of the dewdrop and a little bit of light kind of spotlighting the Lotus. But I think the other bits around it, and I know going like Kenilworth Gardens and photographing these, they're busy. There's just a lot going on, a lot of leaves and stuff in the background, and that's just how it is. So I think this one may be a different crop. I don't know if you needed that whole stem coming up there and the other leaf with the other little droplets on it. I'd maybe come in a little tighter crop and take out some of that bottom stuff. So we kind of focus on the top kind of half of the frame. I think it'd be a little bit more interesting crop. So yeah, I think this one is just a lot going on, and I think could have handled some of the elements a little differently. So take this one out.
51 is out. 52 is coming through.
Great job controlling the exposure on the bald eagle's head there. Almost looks like quite blowing out the white on his feather, but holding it in enough to get a nice side light, great posture on his wings, and nice blurring out the background using that long ledge. I just wish that fish that he was holding was a little bit more visible, a little bit dangling, just a little bit. I know he's hauling ass away with his catch, and so his feet are back, holding that fish so he doesn't drop it. But it just all merges in with his tail feather, and so I can't really appreciate the catch. I know it's there. I can see its tail, but it just all kind of blends together. So I just wish I could appreciate that to kind of get the full story going on. So we'll take this one out, unfortunately, but excellent job capturing, freezing the image.
52 is out. 53 is Portrait of a Happy Life.
Yeah, nice job on this one. I like this. You know, she's looking kind of off camera, which is okay in this image because we've got a lot of character going on with her face and her smile. I think the monochrome conversion for this one was a good choice. Kind of good blend there of shades of tonality. So I like that. So I like the type crop on this one. I think it works well for this type of image. So really good light on the face. We'll leave this one in.
53 is in. 54, Backyard Sculptor.
Love the composition of this one. Placement of him off the left, and then he's got all of the bowls and stuff on the right. A lot of interesting architecture and stuff going around him. So I think your compositional choices were great. I just question the post-processing, much like that pair of log cabins we saw earlier in this category. It's just really heavily cooked, and it's just very crunchy, grungy, and I think to me it's just too much. You know, he starts to blend in, even though he's brighter, he really just starts to blend in with his background, and so just it's too overcooked for me with this type of heavy-handed processing he did. So we'll take this one out.
54 is out. 55 is Tudor Fire Rose.
I like this one. Really clever with the, I don't know if you're looking through a kaleidoscope or you manufactured this in Photoshop. Either way, really good. Love the symmetry. Love the colors really popping out, very vibrant. I think all the colors work really well together. The highlights and the golds around the perimeter balance well with the highlights of the whites in the middle, and then a wonderful turquoise greenish color in the center. It all just really plays really, really well together. So great job on this one. Leave it in.
55 is in. 56 is Ruins.
Nice angles here. I like the composition, kind of showing these layers of angles upon angles upon angles, playing in there as your kind of eye digs into the image and goes into the depths of the image. But to me, there's just not enough going on. I think it's some of the ruins where it was in much shadow as they were. I could kind of appreciate the architectural elements even further. So I think you need to brighten up the shadows a little bit in some of the areas on the right there and the left, and maybe all the way in the furthest room in the back there. So just balance it out, because as it stands now, the brightest part is that window in the back and the sky, and those aren't the areas I really want to focus my attention on. I want to be able to appreciate some of the architecture. So a little bit more editing on this one. We could really bring it out and really emphasize the best parts of the image. So we'll take this one out.
56 is out. 57, Flower Center 2.
Like the composition of this one. I think this one is just a little soft for me. I'd want to see this. I kind of like the softness of it, and I wonder how this would look as a monochrome. I think that would maybe work well. Yes, you lose the pop of that orange and that yellow, but for this kind of soft look that's kind of focused on these graphical shapes and strong lines, monochrome might work really well for this one. Otherwise, I think you need to bring up those whites a bit more so they punch out just a little bit more. You don't want to compete with the orange and the yellow, so you got to be careful of that. Maybe you have to punch up just everything. But to me, it's just very soft lighting on it. And as a color image, you usually want bolder, saturated colors. Monochromes, you can have a little bit more leadway. That's why I suggested the monochrome. So we'll take this one out, but I think you could re-edit this a little bit and it'd work out better.
57 is out. 58 is Oh My.
Nice shot of this helicopter. I think your shutter speed is really good. You still show a little bit of motion in the blade. Like the composition, I think this would be a good one for, some editorial piece on, rescue Navy helicopter coming in or something like that. But there's not, beyond that, there's not enough to really capture my attention other than a nice shot of the helicopter. I think if I'd seen it coming into land in a crisis area or landing on an aircraft carrier or something, give it some context, I think that would create more of a story. And I think that's what you need for this kind of image. Otherwise, it's just a nice shot of a helicopter. Good job with your black and white conversion. I do like that. And like I said, the shutter speed's nice, but I think it ends there for me. So I'll take this one out.
58 is out. 59 is Oktoberfest 2023.
All right, so kind of like the one we saw earlier of the mayor guy or whatever hugging the other guy, whispering in his ear. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to get at here with this moment. The one guy's taking up most of the real estate. He's got his head turned away from me. His wife is looking at you like, why are you taking our picture? So I'm not seeing interaction between the two people. And I'm just like, why is this woman scowling at me, the viewer of this photograph? So I guess I'm not feeling what you're trying to show here. So we'll take this one out.
59 is out. 60 is Smoke in Autumn Leaves.
Smoke. Okay, so that's probably I'll have to explain a little bit what's going on here. So pretty interesting on this one. I like that smoke. I think the little rays shooting through the tree, the light rays by themselves would have been interesting, but the smoke adds just another element to it. It almost makes this more of an abstract image. I kind of feel like I'm looking more like a close-up stained glass window because I got all this backlighting on those colorful leaves and then the smoky streaks and stuff like that, and the strong graphic of the tree trunks going through there. So this is a case where it's a photo of nothing, but something. So this is good. I think it plays as an atmospheric shot as well as a kind of abstractish kind of looking thing. So just a play of light and shadow and color. So very clever. So good catching this one. I'll keep this one in.
60 is in. 61 is Can You See Me Now?
Good job getting some sharpness on this little this dragonfly or Dan, whatever they're called. This creature on the backside sleeve. I think there's a lot of other negative space around it. I know that kind of puts him into scale, how small these little dragonflies are compared to the plants. But I guess I don't necessarily know I need that much green space on the right side and some of those bright highlights in the background. So I think the balance gets off for this particular image, even though it helps show the scale a bit. Those other things are so bright and beautiful, they capture my attention, pull me away from the subject. So we'll take this one out.
61 is out. 62 is Aliens.
All right, so this is some weird fire manipulation, something or other, mirrored image, clearly, because same stuff on both sides. This one, it's kind of interesting. Good colors, yeah, it kind of looks like some weird alien or something like that. I guess it doesn't grab my attention as much as some of the other mirrored kind of image kaleidoscope type things we've seen already tonight. That kind of blue color is interesting, kind of popping out. I think that helps offset those logs that are a little darker. So it's all right. I think maybe just some of the fire in the bottom maybe needs to be brightened up a little bit just to balance it out a little bit more. You wouldn't want to make it too bright because then you'd lose the wonderful colors of the flames. But I think just the balance of lights and darks is off for a little bit to me. It feels kind of dark and heavy. So it's not as pleasing to continually look at as some of the other photos. So we'll take this one out.
62 is out. 63 is Scholar.
All right, so we saw another picture of this gentleman earlier. So you all using the same sexy model for your photo shoot. I'm not as much a fan of this image. I think the one we saw before, the lighting was a little bit more from the side. This one, the lighting's kind of front on him, and so it's all his face and his arm holding the piper and his shirt all kind of illuminated the same, and then we got the bright hand down there. So this is more like a grab shot to me, and it's not as artistic. And I think you need to change up the lighting or just in post-processing, selectively darken and brighten areas to make a little bit more of that Rembrandt kind of lighting or something like that instead of this heavy front lighting that we're seeing. So we'll take this one out.
63 is out. 64 is Old Bedford Sheriff.
Nice portrait of this gentleman. Good job getting him to kind of lift his chin a little bit so we get enough light on his face because that big brimmed hat going to shade his face. To me, it's a nice portrait of a guy you saw probably at some reenactment somewhere. I guess since we've seen some other ones, club must have taken a trip somewhere. And it's an all right shot. It'd be good for a collection of showing some of the different reenactors. But to me, it feels a little bit more of a grab shot. Yes, it's posed, but there's not as much artisticness there, and maybe the post-processing or the lighting. And I know you're doing this out in the real world, so you don't have studio lights or anything with you. But I think that's where you need to go into post-processing and just darken a little bit more, maybe create a little bit more of a vignette or something, just to really make him pop. And so I don't think we've fully realized what this image could be. So we're going to take this one out.
64 is out. 65 is Sunrise Bottle.
All right, I really like this one. Love the lighting on this. I suspect there's a story to be told here. I think the composition is really good. So just a lot of pleasing things going on with this one. We'll leave this one in.
65 is in, and 66 is Ancient Juniper.
Yeah, so kind of like some of the other folks I talked about tonight, we're kind of getting too much blending between the subject of this tree with the rocks, and just because everything's processed the same. These are images, and I see these all the time, and my eye is able to pick out the tree. The tree in my eye stands out from the rocks, but the camera doesn't see that. The camera just blends it all together. And so that's when a lot of post-processing needs to happen to lighten and darken the image so that that tree really stands out from the rocks, or at least stands out more than it does currently, when it's all just blended in there. And then we have that kind of heavy dark sky in the background, just further just smushing everything together. So it's like he took this nice photo and just flattened it. So it's just all kind of one shade of luminosity, one shade of gray. And I can't appreciate the individual elements. And that's what I want to do, is appreciate the individual elements. And so when they're all just kind of stacked on top of each other, same shade of gray, I can't distinguish them. And so then I can't appreciate that. So a bit more editing on this one. Maybe you could bring something out of it. Otherwise, appreciate what you saw with your eyes and just say that, hard for the camera to capture the separation between these different aspects. So we'll take this one out.
66 is out, and that should be the rest of those. That should be at the end. And we are.
All right.
Let me go up and see what we've got.
Yeah, 3, 6, 7, 14. I have 17 photos. Wait,
No, I have
16.
3, 4, 5, 6. I have
Hold on a second.
27. Mm-hmm.
27. Sorry. I clicked on the wrong thing on my computer.
Bob, do you concur with 27?
27.
And a sneeze.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go through and take a bunch out.
Okay.
So let's go through this quickly. We're going to take out number 5, coffee grinder. Number
5 is out.
With some better editing, I think that one could be really, really good. Nelly. Let's see. Oh, there's so many good. It makes it so hard for me. So many good stuff. Let's take out number 23, no smoking.
23, no smoking. Out.
We'll take out number 18, overgrown.
Number 18 is out.
Number 17, at the museum.
Number 17 at the museum is out.
Oh, so much good stuff in here, guys. A lot of these are really, really great. Number 41, balancing act, is out.
Number 41, up there it is. Balancing act is out.
Number 42, Multnomah Falls, is out.
42 is out.
Oh, I like this one, but all right. Number 44, Icelandic Farm Friend is out.
Number 44 is out.
Oh, now we're getting tough, folks. So we're down to this level, and we got a lot of great photos in here, a lot of originality. And when I judge, I tend to lean more towards creativity and originality, more so than a well-executed photo that maybe I've seen before or something similar I've seen before. So that's kind of at the point we're at, where some of these photos I'm taking out now are good photos. It's just some of the other ones are just more unique and more creative. More went into making them, and so they're going to win tonight. But everything that's left here is really, really good. So just preference that. My apologies, but more cuts to come. All right. Number 11, Summer Love. Take that out.
11 is out.
Number 14, Crested Cara with Breathless is out.
14 is out.
Number 38, Linville Falls is out.
38 is out.
Oh, gosh, there's so many good ones.
And at any time, we can start having you place, and we can just, the rest will fall off the end.
Yeah, I know. I need to narrow the field on my screen so I can better see. Oh, so hard. I will take number 3, Dreamsicle Delight, out.
Number 3 is out.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Let's take number 7, What Me, out.
Number 7 is out. You need 4 more, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but all right. Number 22, Toyota logo is out.
22, the Toyota logo.
Yeah. Such good stuff, folks. Such good stuff. Number 53, Portrait of a Happy Life is out.
53 is out.
Okay, go 2 more. Really. All right. Number 32, Get Over It is out.
32 is out.
Oh, they're all so good, folks. Now my criteria is, if I printed this out, would I want to continually look at it on my wall? All right, we're going to, oh, I love it. Number 60, Smoking Autumn Leaves is out.
And number 60 is out.
We're down to the 11th.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. How are we going to play these? Let me just run through them one more time on my screen real quick in full screen so I can see them. All good stuff, folks. Okay. All right, so we're going to give... No. 1, 3... Okay, I think I got it. All right, honorable mention. Number 65, Sunrise Bottle.
65, honorable mention.
Number 46, Outer Banks Surfers, honorable mention.
46, honorable mention.
Number 40, Snake Oil Salesman, honorable mention.
40, Snake Oil Salesman, honorable mention.
Number 34, Tristan, honorable mention.
Number 34, Tristan, is an honorable mention.
Number 29, Mandate Nature, honorable mention.
29, honorable mention.
And number 26, for fierce competition, honorable mention.
26, honorable mention.
And number 6, turnpike fire, honorable mention.
And number 6, honorable mention.
All right, 4th place is 55, Tudor Fire Road.
4th place to number 55.
3rd place goes to number 2, Professor.
Number 2 is 3rd place.
2nd place is number 15, Steam Engine Driving Wheeler.
2nd place to number 15, which leaves 1st place to number 12.
Crane Reflection, exact.
Perfect. Bob, when you're ready, if you'd like to come up and announce our winners.
What I would like to do after we do these unlimiteds is could we go back to the novice? Because we didn't give them an opportunity to.
Well, one thing I was going to do, and we can definitely do that, I was going to announce for everybody to put them on the Facebook page because of the speaker, it makes it a little bit difficult, but we'll try to make it work.
Okay. All right. Sorry for missing out the novices first time round. Okay. So honorable mention. Where's my little gadget? There we go. Come on.
It's a backup screen.
No, I just got to see the small print. Sunrise Bottle, Mike Thomas. Few words?
Last year I did this with a message in the bottle. This year it's got twinkly little lights. The hardest thing is getting up that early in the morning.
46 Outer Banks, again Mike Thomas.
Yeah, so last time September went down to the Outer Banks and they were having a surfing competition, and this was the day after, which still had good waves and lots of surfers.
46.
Really nice. That's good competition on that one.
Tristan, Fred Venetia, honorable mention.
Yeah, it was a one-liter. It was a one-liter on the side. You'll see it next week in my talk.
Honorable mention, John Milliker, Mandate Nature.
Well, I guess I didn't really want to, maybe I didn't want to talk about this one, but it's kind of self-explanatory with all the mandates. I think people need to get out in nature more.
Snake oil salesman.
Oh, yeah, number 40. Okay, I'll believe you. Missed that one. Yeah, snake oil salesman, Dawn Granis. And also Turnpike Fire, Clarence Carvel, which I can't see for that.
Should also have 26, Bob, for the last honorable mention.
26.
Fierce competition.
Okay. 26, fierce competition, J.C. Williams.
I was taking this past summer during the track meet. My grandson was in track meet, so I went to the finals, and I wasn't able to get on the field, so I had to shoot from the fence line. That's the way I got that, and did a lot of considering how I wanted it, because I was looking for just one person with both of them having the stick in their hand, but I was lucky enough to get two of them with it in their hand.
Okay, fourth place, Tudor Fire Rose, Bob Weber. And that's of interest because that piece of the fire was also the same fire that, what's the name?
Aliens.
No. One of the other fire you saw. Aliens, yeah. What's the photographer's name? Whatever.
Wasn't yours.
Oh, very clever.
Anyway, moving on. Where's number 3?
Third place is two professor.
Yeah, two professor is Diane Vatcher.
Yeah, that was done here at studio night, and I wanted to count every whisker on Bob's face.
I thought I recognized.
Oh, Lord. Heaven forbid. All right, second place was Mike Thomas, steam engine driving wheels.
I took that up at the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. I went up there to try and get some night shots for our upcoming night contest, and I like this graphic one.
Okay,
Great
first
lighting.
place is Crane Reflections, Bob Weber. That was taken down at the BMI overlooking the harbor early Saturday morning, and it is actually a reflection of the same cranes, only the second image, one of the cranes turned around. But I managed to take the two frames such that they could be spliced together.
Oh yeah, I'm just now noticing that. Yes, facing the wrong way. Clever.
Right, can we do the,
Let's do the novices real quick. Let's see. Attributes. Okay, can you bring up for me number 2, Blackwater Falls, Bob?
Blackwater Falls. Let me see, that was,
Yeah, Catherine Rush for that one.
next time I'm going to do this on a certain screen. Oh,
Is Catherine here? No. Another honorable mention is number 13, 4:17 p.m. by Sarah.
Thank you. I go on a lot of walks, so I just saw this when I was on a walk one day, and I just took a picture of it.
Very interesting.
I have to get to the other thing.
I got it, Bob. You want me to just
Yeah, I can't get back to the right file.
Fourth is Blue Hydrangea.
Yeah, we've got Blue Hydrangea by Gwen Neff.
That's Gwen's first win, first contest, I think.
Indeed, yes.
Congratulations, Gwen. First win. Let's see. Next is third place, number 7, Lighthouse by Monique.
This was an early morning out on the water taking photos of the lighthouse.
Second place is number 19, Twins by Catherine Rush again. And then Sarah with our first place winner with We Will Fall. Sarah, congratulations.
Thank you. I took this in my backyard. The sky was not photoshopped. It was white like that. And I just cropped I took the photo in the camera and just like it is. I didn't do any, I just kind of cropped it after I took it, but that was it.
Really nice.
Is it Kathleen Rush is online, and she says twins was taken. She lives near a fishing village.
Very nice. And what about her other shot? What was that?
Blackwater Falls.
Falls?
And she didn't give information on that one, but
Okay, no problem. Greg, thank you so much. Wonderful work again, as always. I want to thank all of our people that
We did?
that sent photos in. Everybody, congratulations to those winners, and everybody got such great information from you, Greg, on what they can do to make them a little bit better. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay, Greg, thank you so much. Everybody else that's here or online, we're going to see you. What do we have coming up, Christine? What's our next field trip?
November 17th, Conowingo Dam.
November 17th is Conowingo Dam, but we have our own Fred Venetia that is giving a talk on portrait photography next Thursday, which I believe is the 16th? 15th, whatever next Thursday is. But either way, we're going to say goodnight to you guys, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.